Dear beloved Vardians, I know I saw that as if I'm writing a love letter to you, but in a way I am. I wanted to really see how you're doing. I know we are almost, we're done with the first quarter of the year, and usually a lot is done in that first quarter. Either you continue, you do what you said you were going to do, or you change the path you thought you were going to be on, or you just hold on not doing it for whatever reason, for better or worse. How's the year treating you? Have you been doing what you intended to do this year? Have you What are some challenges you face, and how have you overcome them? Is there anything I can do to ease your way into to ease your way as you approach your goals? I know that can be tough, whatever goal it may be. I like to tell people or remind people that it took a village to get me here, and that village is still around, pushing me through to every aspiration I have in life. And trust me, I have big dreams. And so I always like to just take a second and check in, make sure you're doing well, and check in on each other. If you want to reach out to me on any social media, just to connect or talk about anything, feel free to do that. You have access to all my social medias in all my descriptions of every episode. So don't be shy about it. All right, let's get into the question of the day. True or false? Leeches were commonly used to draw blood in the 19th century. The answer will be at the end. Enjoy. Hey y'all, I hope you're well. Welcome to another episode of Healthcare Boulevard. This is a podcast where we shine more light on healthcare, and our goal here is to provide more options to people looking to choose healthcare as a career path, regardless of their background. My name is Senaka Pomo, and I am your host and creator here. I thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Remember, you can tune in on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Welcome back. How you doing? Y'all know who this is. We are here for another episode, another interview, a new guest on here today, and I'm excited to dive in with her. So let me have her come in and we'll get started. Parisa, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am well, thank you. Now, did I say your name right?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you say your last name?
It's Dadmer.
Dadmer. With the rolled R, Dadmer.
Dadmer, yeah.
Okay, I like it. Okay, well, welcome to Healthcare Boulevard. It's good to have you on. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Actually, I moved here in 2017 from Iran. I already have my bachelor in biology, but I was, wanted to pursuing my nursing degree in the US. That's why I started working in medical field as a phlebotomist. I do have experience in phlebotomist for 10 years. And I started, getting my certificate here in LA because I just wanted to start it in the same field I used to work at. Right. And I got my phlebotomist certificate, and I think it takes 80 hours for you to get that. Okay. And yeah, 40 hours in in a class, and 40 hours in internship and externship. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Okay, that's pretty good. Now, you are a phlebotomist for how long now?
It's been 10 years now.
It's been 10 years. So were you a phlebotomist back in Iran?
Yes.
You were a phlebotomist back there, and then you did your experience over there transfer to here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So knowing how you practice in Iran and now practicing as a phlebotomist here, I would love for you to tell us some of the differences, if any, between being a phlebotomist in Iran and being a phlebotomist here.
Yes, there's a huge difference between these two countries because here in the US, they use different, tubes, and they do use different tubes for different tests. But in Iran, we don't have that much tubes and, color tubes that we can use for each test. And the way, they have to draw in the order of those tubes, it is important in the US. We didn't have that back in Iran. And I guess the only difference is that between the tubes, that's it.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're drawing blood, right? Same
Yes.
veins.
Yes.
Same veins, just different part of the world.
Exactly.
Okay, that's amazing. Now, how would you describe a phlebotomist to somebody who may not have heard of it?
Actually, the only thing I can say is you will draw blood, but the type of work setting you have, it's kind of different everywhere. You can earn more experience in different places. I started in America with a family practice office. They don't use that much, specialty tests. You don't need that much, information
Right.
about what kind of tube do you need. They only use certain tubes. But if you go to another places like, specialist offices, like, endocrinologist or something like that, you need to use more different tubes. And I think that's the challenge in our, profession, because you need to remember all of those tubes, and that's it.
Yeah. Now, when you were getting trained over here as a phlebotomist, did they train you mainly for family practice, or did they train you a little bit in the different settings you may be working in?
Actually, it was just general, drawing blood. They don't teach you everything. I think the more you do, the more you get experience in the field.
Right.
And it's not only the class. You cannot just lay on, class because you think, the class will teach you everything. No, you will learn it in the, work field and the place you go to work. This is what I feel.
Yeah. And sometimes even if you are in the same setting, like family med, and then you go to a different family med office, there might be some just minor changes just based on what the doctor prefers or what labs they use and things like that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, I always like to get an idea of what type of documentation different healthcare professionals are doing. So after you draw blood from a patient, what do you have to do as a phlebotomist for documentation?
It depends, because the place that I work, it's a lab, and I work as a phlebotomist and the front desk, both.
Okay.
So I need to check the patient's, insurances, or, their ID when they come in at the first time, and if they do have front desk, you only need to draw the patient. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then just drawing and then labeling for it's the right patient, and you're good to go. Okay. Yeah. That's amazing. Now, what demographics of patients do you work with right now, like age-wise or different diagnosis, for example?
I'm only working with adults, like, aged 20 to 80s, because it's I'm working with an endocrinologist doctor, and that's why her patients are mostly, adults, and we don't have that much, babies or kids, patients.
Okay. Now, have you worked with babies in the past or children in the past?
No, I never worked with infants before, but with, a teenager and, pediatrics, yes, but not infants.
Okay. And what about elderly? I know sometimes, depending on what you're doing, you may need to take different precautions for elderly populations than, the regular adults. Is that the case as a phlebotomist, or there certain things you have to watch out for or be more cautious for when you're drawing blood from an elderly?
Yes, I think, the more challenging veins are with, more elderly people, because their skin is really, how can I explain it? Their skin
fragile.
is really, huh?
fragile. It's
Yeah,
fragile.
fragile.
Yeah.
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 Sometimes their veins are moving. You need to fix the vein before you draw. And I think that's the challenge in the, field.
Now, being a phlebotomist for as long as you have, what are some of your favorite part about your profession?
I love to see, when people get better with the results, because this is the part of, their treatment actually. And it depends on the blood they draw, the blood they have, because you can treat the patient with the results. And I feel better. I feel good when I see them, getting better. I
Yeah.
think that's the good part of our job.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not the sticking people with needle part.
I think as much as you do, you get used to that part.
Yeah. You're like, okay, come on, it's okay. It's gonna be quick.
Yeah.
And what are some of the challenges you've noticed?
I think that the thing about, moving veins is the most challengeable, thing in our field, because sometimes the veins are moving, and if you don't, go through the right spot, you have to just fishing for the vein, and patient doesn't like that. Yeah, I think that's the most challenging thing. And other thing is, some people, their veins are not, you cannot feel it. You have to just go by your, guess, because you already know which part of arm you can find a vein.
Yeah.
Those two type of people, it's really hard to draw, and they don't like it when you're fishing.
Yeah, I imagine now. But you don't have much option because the blood has to be drawn.
Exactly.
Now, if you don't have to answer this question if nothing comes to mind, but what are can you think of one or two occasions where you had either a very terrible experience as a phlebotomist or a very interesting experience as a phlebotomist, and what happened?
Actually, I had a patient. She's a comedian, and she is really fun, and that was the interesting part of my job, because I couldn't find her vein, and we were both laughing because she was like, "Oh, you cannot find my vein. You're not the first one. You're not the first person you cannot find." And she was laughing. She couldn't stop laughing. We were laughing together. It was the most, interesting part of my job that I had with her.
Yeah, that's interesting. That because that takes the pressure off instead of her being mad and frustrated. So that's more of a positive experience, right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what is your education? So you mentioned it was 40 hours in the classroom and then 40 hours in the externship or clinical, right?
Yeah.
So that adds up to about 2 weeks. Is that essentially the deal?
No, actually, it's not about 2 weeks. It depends, because sometimes when you finish the class, you need to take the exam first. If you pass the exam, you need to see what is the availability for the externship. It might take longer, but in general, you have to have 80 hours of classroom and externship together to have the certificate. And also you have to have your diploma, high school diploma, then you can get the certificate. If not, they're not going to give you the certificate.
Right. Okay, so then just to clarify, you're taking the 40 hours of in the classroom, and then you have to take a test and pass that test, right? And after you pass that test, then you can schedule for the clinical / externship. And once you're done with all of that, then you'll give you your certification.
Yes.
And of course, you must have a high school diploma in order to even get accepted, right?
Yes.
Okay. Besides a classroom diploma, are there any other prerequisites that are required to even know?
No, you just need to have the high school diploma. That's it.
Okay. All right. That's amazing. Tell us, what do you do to sort of cope with stress?
Actually, I think, I don't get I don't get anxiety, or I don't be stressful at my job because
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident, with what I do at my
Mm-hmm.
job.
Yeah.
And, as more as you have experience, there's stress and, those feelings, it will go away and you don't have to deal with that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you do for fun then?
Um, Actually, I try to interact with my patients. As I told you, I
Mm-hmm.
try to entertain them and talk to them and don't let them feel stressed because nobody likes to give blood. This
Right.
is this is
It's
what I
never a
deal with
fun
every day.
experience, right?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody likes that. So I try to talk with them, and some patient doesn't like that. If you
Mm-hmm.
feel nobody likes to talk with you, you need to just leave them alone. Don't talk to them, don't bother them, and let them to just figure it out how to deal with that stress, because you might make them angry and we don't want that.
Right, right. So you have to gauge the room and sort of see, okay, are they in the talkative mode? If they are, then you chat it out. If not, then you just draw the blood and everything is silent.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And any future aspirations for you personally?
Yes, I'm studying nursing, and I'm almost finished my with my prereqs. And next semester, I will transfer to nursing school. I'm so excited for that.
Oh my God, that is
Eh,
exciting.
yeah, and
Okay.
I'm happy for my next season of my life.
Yeah.
I'm really happy.
That's exciting. No, well, I wish you all the luck. I'm sure you're going to crush it and make everybody laugh. That'd be like, nursing school is stressful, but we have Parisa and she made us laugh. But no, I'm very excited for that journey.
Thank
Maybe
you.
we'll have you back on when you're on RN and I'm in the RN sections, and you can tell us all about being a nurse and we can compare and chat it out, because I have no problem chatting. I'm going to be
Of
one of those
course, I
in
would
your
love to
chair.
see you again.
We'll be like, come on, let's talk. If you
Yeah.
ever draw blood for me, just talk to me. I am all the way ready to talk.
Yeah, me too.
I love it. Now, being that you are heading to nursing school with the phlebotomist, do you feel like your experience of as a phlebotomist would transfer and make life a little easier and smoother in nursing school and then as a nurse?
Absolutely, because still in nursing, field, you still need to deal with drawing blood or giving, injections,
Mm-hmm.
pushes, and all those needs that is experience. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't have it, it might be more challenging for you. This is what I think.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Now, will you be working while you're in nursing school?
No, because when you're in nursing school, it's a full time, you have to be full time student, and you don't
Yeah,
have that time to work and being a full time student at the same time.
yeah, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But so I'm excited for that. Last question before I let you go. Any word of advice for somebody wanting to be a phlebotomist?
Um, the only thing that I can say is, this is the job you need to love, and you need to believe people needs that bedside manner, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to have that to
Mm-hmm.
be a part of the field. If not, this is not a pleasant thing to do for people. So if you're not a good person and you don't have the good bedside manner, they're not gonna feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
need to put people in comfort for your job,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the most important thing in our field. This is what I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what, Parisa, you are going to be an amazing nurse, and I can't wait to see you.
Thank you.
If
Thank
I
you so
ever
much.
end up in the hospital, I would love to have you on my bedside.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I
You
hope
are
you
very
never leave that
welcome.
hospital.
Right? Me too.
Yeah,
But if it ever happens, I'll be like, come on, I need Parisa by my side. I need to laugh through this.
of course.
But again, thank you so much for
Of
joining.
course.
I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you joining us and taking the time on this beautiful, sunny-ish, rainy-ish Saturday that we're having over here.
Yes.
The weather doesn't know what it wants to do.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you again and have a beautiful rest of your weekend, Parisa.
Thank you for having me in your show. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and good to see you today.
Of course, thank you. All right, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'm back for the answer. Physicians in France and England used to use leeches to suck the blood of patients in the 1830s and 1840s. Back in the ancient time and again in the Middle Age, the leeches were used to heal headaches and other ailments. Leeches are currently still used to help with the removing. We help. I'm sorry. Leeches are still used today to help remove blood in swollen areas or following procedures with an increased risk of blood clot. But there are much safer means of drawing blood for diagnostic purposes, as we know. So that's a little phlebotomist fact for you. I swear, my terrible sense of pronunciation is just showing up here. Oh my goodness. All right. I hope you all enjoy. Namaste. All right. That's all I have for you today. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you. Please subscribe, follow, like, comment, and share. And stay blessed. Bye.